And now where would I be without you? Where would I be, Jesus?
I grew up in Washington Township. I did not have a perfect childhood. There was a lot of anger and strife and turmoil. There was some emotional and physical abuse. But one of the great things about my childhood is what my mother passed down and instilled in me, and that was her gift of faith. And my testimony of salvation, it's, not typical where I know the exact date and time, but I believe that I was saved as a little girl. Because I just don't remember a time in my life where I didn't remember and know that Jesus was my Lord and Savior. And I believe that because there's just no other way to explain, how I've gone through everything I've gone through in life and that I'm still here and alive today. When I was 18 years old, my parents were going through a terrible divorce, and it was then that I discovered drugs. And it gave me a false sense of happiness, it made it feel like that void was kind of gone. And it started with prescription drugs, and then by the time I was 21, it had progressed into a full-blown heroin addiction. The next 3 years were the most miserable years of my life. I had been arrested, I went to jail, I had totaled a bunch of cars and been to rehabs and treatment centers. And I love in John 8:34 where Jesus talks about everyone who practices sin becomes a slave to sin. Because I was definitely a slave to drugs and alcohol. From the age of 22 to 23, I had overdosed 8 times. After that 8th time, I signed a DNR because I just didn't want to live anymore. I was so miserable, but I couldn't stop. When my family found out about this, my sister wrote the A&E television show Intervention. I am addicted to heroin and Xanax.
I won't let her go. I will not just sit back and watch her die. I have to do something. I am gonna save my sister. My biggest fear is that it'll be too late. Every second counts right now. Every single second counts.
Hi, Ange.
And I spent the last, I don't know how many nights just saying out loud, just please wait, because I'm coming. And now I'm here. You hear me? I told you I would come. So here I am with everyone else who loves you. I love you.
Me too. Ange, for the past 4 or 5 years, it's been a really rough time for both of us. And I want you back, the old Ange that I know. I miss you so much. Everything's gonna be all right.
So on September 28th of 2008, I used heroin for the last time. My family intervened on me on national television, and I was sent out to California to go to treatment. When I first got clean 11 years ago, I was really angry with God. I got really involved in a 12-step program, and I love in 2 Corinthians 13, Paul talks about us examining and evaluating ourselves. And this is what I did through the 12 steps. And it was through that work, that God revealed the truth to me. He did not cause my problems, but he was the answer to all my problems. It wasn't God who had turned his back on me. It was me who had turned my back on God and on my faith. I rededicated my life to Christ, and I went back to church, and that's where I found Gloucester County Community Church, and I absolutely love it. I actually got baptized here last December. I've learned and grown so much, and life has never been better. I had had religion all my life, but what I was missing was a personal relationship with Jesus. I now sponsor other women, and I'm trying to show them the way to freedom. I go into treatment centers and hospitals every month, and I share with them my testimony. And I do this to try to show other people that if God did it for me, He can do it for you. There is no pit too deep that God's not going to reach down and pull you out of it. You know, we can't give up.
Lifted me up from the ashes, carried my soul from death.
No matter what it is that you're suffering from, whether it's anxiety, depression, addiction, sickness, you know, the list goes on. Jesus is the key. He is the way. He is the truth. He is the life. Jesus is the answer to all of our problems.